It's the number one hustler. I turn a hater to a customer. It's the number one hustler. I turn a hater to a customer. Trying to get this right. I'm trying to live this life. I put in work and still be earning stripes. So it's the number one hustler. I turn a hater to a customer. Trying to get this right. I'm trying to live this life. I put in work and still be earning stripes. So
hey everyone, guess who's back? It's the commish. Back here with another team preview. This time it's Joshua and Sasha likes my Heineken. A guy that came in last year, had a pretty successful year, first year in. Decided not to take the grace and it paid off. He got a third place finish. So obviously this was a guy that, well, technically he finished fourth, but because Gwevin didn't pay, he got the third place prize money. Anyways, good owner, but he's probably interested in why he got a draft grade of a C. Let me just break it down for you here. So in the first round, he had a couple of picks. His first pick was Perrine, and questionable pick, and here's why. Because he already has Rob Kelly, and I know his thinking was probably if I pick Perrine, I guaranteed to have the starter in Washington. I personally would have took the chance on maybe a guy like Terrence West, who was picked after the fact, so you might have had another starter, or LeGarrette Blount as well, so you probably could have had another starter there, and rolled with Rob Kelly and hope he wins the job. Because of that, I think, your next pick, you picked Theo Riddick, so it was clear you understand you need to get the running backs going. You had some wide receiver depth. Some notable running backs picked after that pick was Jonathan Stewart, CJ Procise, and Jamal Charles. So the strategy, I agree with your strategy. You had to go running backs early. Just not sure about Perrine and Riddick, really, with the three other guys picked after. And then your next pick was a disaster as well. Third rounder, had no second rounder. He went Quincy Enunwa, who's now out for the year. Mike Wallace was picked after that and was picked right before me. Luke, you son of a bitch, I wanted him. But no doubt about it, this pick is a disaster as well. So you can see how it contributes to a C grade. Next, I got your fourth rounder, O.J. Howard, and some notable tight ends picked after him after this pick was Dwayne Allen, Charles Clay, and Evan Ingram. So O.J. Howard, obviously you live in Alabama now, Joshua, so you must have been talking to the locals there. Obviously probably going to be a dynamic talent, maybe just not this year with Brait there. And then Donta Foreman was also picked after that. We saw what he did last night in the preseason, 76 on the ground. So, again, a pick that might be good for the future, but still could cost you this year for immediate results. Then you picked fifth round Hooper. Obviously, tight ends were going. Sixth round Josh Doxson, who we still don't know if this guy will recover from injuries. Round 7, Houston Texans, pretty good grade there, getting Texans defense, I think. Round 8, getting JPP, first DL for you, and then round 9, getting Tony Jefferson, your first, DB. So, draft grade of C, Joshua, just because again, the Perrine pick, I would have gambled with somebody else, and, even Theo Riddick, the injury problems with him could be deadly, and then the Quincy Enunwa pick was just awful. So, but looking at Joshua's positions now, at QB, he's fairly stabilized still with Stafford, has Mahomes there for the future. Running back, not a very good grade still this year, Joshua. I know it was a focus for your draft, but again, I see Perrine and Kelly. Only one of those guys is going to be a starter. which means really Theo Riddick and Dion Lewis, who again is not going to be that great. So your running back depth again is not where it needs to be this year. Wide receiver, you look pretty strong again. Des Bryant, Demarius Thomas, Crabtree. You got Josh Doxson, Boyd there. So lots of depth there. Tight end, a couple young ones in Hooper and Howard. Again, we'll see if these guys can immediately contribute or not. Kicker, I think you got a good one in Hoshka, but again, kicking in the cold weather now in Buffalo. When you have Texans and Bills defenses, I think those are two pretty good defenses. DL is the strength of your team. You got JPP and Vernon, as well as Atkins and Noah Spence. So really good DLs there. Linebacker, not really the greatest linebackers. You got Jerry Hughes, who's kind of more of a hybrid defensive end. Sheard, Derek Johnson, who's hurt every year it seems now. Vince Williams and Shaq Thompson, so not the greatest linebackers. And then at DB, some question marks as well. Corey Graham, I know he was signed by the Eagles. Had a great season a couple of years ago for Buffalo, but I don't even think he's guaranteed a spot. Tony Jefferson, Darryl Worley, and Adam Jones. So, looking at the lineup and here in the draft grade now, let's get into Joshua's win-loss predictions for the year now. So we start with week 1, playing a divisional rival, Fighting Geese. I got an L for Josh in that one for week 1, not starting the season off right. Week 2 against new owner Mr. Longyard. I got a W here for you, Joshua, so you rebound after your week 1 loss. Week 3 versus Pack Attack. I got a loss for Joshua here. And it doesn't get any better in week 4 facing divisional rival Pack Attack. Got a loss here too, so a quarter into the season, starting 1-3, and it doesn't get any better in week 6 for Saving Ryan. Another loss, bringing his record to 1-5 to start the year halfway through. Week 7 versus Goose Bombers, another loss here. 1-6 start for Joshua. It'll be interesting to see what he'll do around this time of year if he is 1-6, trying to trade people and get better. Week 8, I got a win here, beating Danny and Billsy Bob Tim Horton. And then week 9 versus Krista and Storm, I got another W there. So 2 straight wins to help, bringing his record to 3-6 through 9. But week 10 faces me. I got a loss there for you, Joshua. Week 11, taking on Monsters in our state-controlled team. Should be a W there for Joshua. And then week 12, finishing off with Lucas and Green Lightning before the flex game. I got a loss here for you. So through 12, Joshua, here's what I see you at, 4-8. Obviously, you ran your team through your draft analyzer. It said you were the fifth place best team, or 5th best draft. I didn't see it the same way. I think you're a great owner, and I think you definitely have a lot of football knowledge. And I might be talking out my ass, but I just don't see a winning season for you this year. I see you finishing 4th in that Wild West division this year, and you'll definitely have to start thinking about next year, in my opinion.